okay? And psychologists and psychiatrists say there are basically 3 types of faces. The kind you show to the world, the kind you show to your family and friends, and the kind you mostly keep to yourself. Now that mostly keep to yourself is important because that means usually when you're telling somebody, you really trust them. When you put that face, your whole body out there and really give them who you are, that's important. And that's very rare. Most of us will not trust anybody enough to do that. But sometimes you find the right person and it works great. Now babies, that's the first face. Okay, they're so cute, right? And they're like, yay, look how cute I am, you have to love me. Doesn't always work out that way, but, you know, we try. And they learn to read your facial expressions. Everybody's facial expressions around them, they learn to read those so they know what's going on, how to behave, you know, should I cry, should I laugh, you know, all these different things they're learning. But, you know, so the next, as they get older in the childhood range, you start learning what's expected of you from your family, your friends, the people you go to school with, your teachers, all of these different people. And it's like society as a whole has certain expectations of us. So as a child in grade school and up, you know, you learn to mask your true emotions sometimes because you don't want to get in trouble, you don't want to have people dislike you, you don't want to be bullied, you want to fit in. I never truly fit in anywhere and I was okay with that because I actually got along with pretty much everybody. So I was very fortunate because I was not raised in a family that tried to make me be somebody I wasn't. Okay, and that's important because some parents will expect their children to behave a certain way and to grow up to be a certain type of person. And that is really hard on the child because you do not want to, you don't want to stop them from growing and developing in the way they're supposed to and to do the work that they're here to do. But many people don't care about that. They want to live through their children. So the children, again, are masking. They're trying to hide who they really are. And they may have a few friends they can kind of show themselves to and all of that, and they be comfortable with. But in school, you must behave, you must follow this rule, you must do that, you know, and stuff. At least that's the way it was when I was growing up. Okay? And mostly it still is in a lot of places, okay? But they just want to not get in trouble. They want to fit in. Now, I was very fortunate that I was the youngest of 4 kids. So by the time, you know, my siblings had, I learned to watch them and learned what mistakes they made and not to make them. And if I wanted to do something they did that they got in trouble for, I had to make sure I wasn't going to get in trouble for it. So because of having 3 older siblings, I learned how to deal with the people around me. And I could still be myself. I just didn't let everybody know everything about me. So as teenagers, we learn to play the game even more because there's more emphasis on fitting in when you're a teenager. And so you try to show a picture of yourself that will get you involved in a group of other people because you want to have buddies. You don't want to be bullied, you want to have buddies, somebody to hang out with, somebody to help protect you, support you, take care of you as you're traveling through this dangerous period of adolescence. Some just refuse to play the game and they're known as outcasts or misfits or whatever name they want to give. They're very often ostracized because they refuse to play the game. And adults have the same problem. You get to a certain stage, you don't want to play the game anymore. But you have a job, and you have the things that the job wants you to do, and how they want you to dress, and how they want you to behave in the workplace, and all this kind of stuff. So, and every workplace has different rules for fitting in. And if you work more than one job, you got to know all those rules. And that is not always an easy task to do. And it's just like, my daughter, my youngest daughter now has 3 jobs, and she's mostly working with animals. And she's just was talking to me recently how she just wants to work for herself. She's tired of working with other people that try to put their take on everything that she actually knows more about than they do. And it's, you know, she went to school to work with animals. She knows all the physiology. She knows all these different things, and she specialized in queen science. So she's very intelligent about what she knows, and she keeps learning and getting certifications and all this, so she can at some point have her own business and not have to deal with anybody else. So, and she really doesn't like to wear any faces or masks or anything. She just wants to be herself, and if people can't take her that way, oh well, life. But relationships, okay, so many people we know, as a matter of fact, especially teenagers, and they want to get somebody, they want to have a good friend, they want to have a boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, and they just sometimes pretend that they are someone they're not, because somebody told them somewhere, you gotta do that, you gotta do that. Because growing up, my generation, it was like, well, you must be nice, you must be polite, you must smile. And I'm like, really? Why? If I don't feel like smiling, why should I smile? You know? So there's all these people out there that then you get yelled at or ostracized or mistaken for your emotions and your feelings when you don't mask, when you don't pretend that you are part of this group. And it's like really hard for a lot of people, and that's why there have been so many suicides and stuff like that throughout the years with teenagers. They get involved in drugs because they can't handle the role that they've been told they have to fit into. So our job really is to just kind of try to help everybody feel accepted and be non-judgmental. And that's really, really hard for a lot of people to do, because you're raised with certain precepts and certain, oh, this has to be, oh, you gotta be a lady, you gotta do this, you can't do that. I was told when I was in 6th grade, I couldn't learn drums in band because I was a girl and girls don't play drums. And I'm like, excuse me? And I know my mother didn't support me in this simply because she didn't want to hear the drums in the house. But my brother was playing the trombone, and my sister was playing the flute, my other sister was singing, and it's like they gave me a clarinet. I am not a wind person, okay? The summer band, my person that was sitting next to me that was also playing clarinet was just as bad as I was. So we both shared changing first and last, well, second to last and last seat, okay? All the time in the clarinet section. Because we didn't want to play it. We weren't good at it. We didn't want to do that. But I knew people that were girls that got to play drums, so I was really upset about that. And who knows, I could have been a really good drummer and made money at it, but that didn't happen. So anyway, you know, like, if you don't give yourself, if you want to be in a relationship, if you think you're in love with this person and stuff, the best thing you can do is show them who you really are. And if they run screaming away, then you've got your message right there, okay? It's okay if they run, because they wouldn't stick around anyway for you. They wouldn't be supportive of you. And what you're looking for is someone who can accept you as yourself. Warts and all, it doesn't matter. But, you know, you don't have to agree on everything. I have some friends that are married, and they're both politically opposite of each other. So they agreed not to talk politics at home. They can do it on Facebook. They can disagree on Facebook, but not at home. Home is a politic-free place. And my brother and sister-in-law are also politically opposite of each other, but my sister-in-law doesn't care because she says, my vote cancels out his vote, so it doesn't matter. So, you know, so you just have to figure out who you're going to open up to. Can you open up to yourself? Can you become aware of yourself? Do you know who you are? And the first thing as you go through life is learning who you are and learning what you want to be like, okay? How to do that. And we still struggle as adults. Most of us don't want to do adulting any day of the week, okay? But we have to, because there are certain things that have to happen. We have a home, we have to keep it clean, we have to get food, we have to, you know, do all these little things. We have to pay bills. It's boring, it's annoying, but we have to do it because that's just the way our society works. But we don't have to like it. But yourself, you may have a really hard time recognizing yourself at times because you have to put on so many different faces. When my mother would be getting ready to go to work or to something else she had to go to, she would say, I've got to go put on my face, which meant she had to put on her makeup. Because she had to look a certain way back in the 50s and 60s, okay? You couldn't just go out and wear whatever you wanted to, and you couldn't have tattoos, and you couldn't do this, and you couldn't do that. There was a lot of don'ts, you know? But, so she went and she put on her face, and she was really good at socially interacting and masking and, you know, all of that. So, but she had a good core of friends that she could be herself with. And that was important, and it's very important that we have a good core of friends to be, that we can actually show who we are. So becoming aware, again, of who you really are and not being afraid to show this is going to make you a very happy person, because you're going to find those people who also are not afraid to show who they are. And that is just going to be a blast for you. And just hang out and just feel like you can say anything you want and be as crazy and weird as you want to be, if that's what you want to be. You know, and if you want to be the straight-laced person, fine, no problem. You're going to find other people that want to be the same way. So find your face that works the best for you and show that to the world. You know, show that to people you care about. Find who you are. Become aware of what face you want to show everybody. Because you're not going to want to show everybody the same face. When you're going into a grocery store or something, you're going to be polite and nice, we hope. Though there are people who aren't. And you can stand in line with them and they'll like, I have done something different. I order my groceries online and have them delivered to my car. It's like much easier for me because of my mobility issues, but it's also really nice that I don't have to get harassed by anybody or run into people you don't want to see that you haven't seen in a long time and feel like you have to stand there and talk to them. So it's perfectly okay to be who you are. And it's perfectly okay to cry, to rant, to rave, to have you be you. Because when you're not you, you get sick. And that's been studied for years. You know, if you are not a happy person, you will get ill. Because you are just not where you want to be, you're not being who you are. I've listened to people who have very bad ADHD and autism and all these other things that they have going on with them. And they say they felt like they were being tortured growing up, having to try and be somebody they weren't. And they would literally have these horrendous meltdowns and everything. So really, just any age you are, if you can find the people that you connect with, that you feel comfortable with, it's going to go a long way to making you happy. And again, we all have a faces that we use, that we tell each other stories with. And it's a lot of fun sometimes to be crazy, to share the stories, to burst out in song. When somebody mentions a line from a song and you start singing, that's fun. So I feel here is one of those places where most of us can actually show our faces. We can show who we truly are, because we are really trying as spiritualists to not be judgmental, to just allow people to be who they are, no matter what we think of them. Because a lot of people nowadays live in cars, in buses and vans and retooled school buses and everything, because A, it's very expensive to buy a house, and a lot of people can't afford it. And some people don't have the ability to take care of a house, or a horse. But yeah, so judging somebody based on the fact that they don't have brick and mortar home that stays in one place is not a good thing to do, because people have their reasons for living the way they live, and instead of judging them, we need to learn who they are. Our society is becoming more semi-nomadic than it has been in a long time, and I think that's a good thing, because people have choices now they didn't have before, and it's becoming okay to travel and live your life on the road. So just become aware of who you are, how you want to live, and what faces you want to show, and you're going to be a lot happier. So thank you.
Thank you.